let's start by reviewing the formula. Remember, it's the variable equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of. I always put my b in parentheses, b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. And the a, b, c, remember, come from the numbers in front. So in problem number 2, a is 5, b is -8, c is -19. And then put it in and take it slow. Put all of the pieces into the formula and then take it slow. So it's the opposite of b, 8, and the variable here is n equals the opposite of b, 8, plus or minus the square root of. Then I go parenthesis. In the calculator, it's going to give you the parenthesis right away, so I do another parenthesis, -8, end parenthesis squared, minus 4 times a, in this case, which is 5, times c, which is -19, end parenthesis at the end, all over 2 times a. And then I'll take my calculator and I'll figure out that piece that's a -19. I'll figure out that piece. So I've got to find my calculator, grab a calculator. You can't use your phone on this one. You have to use a calculator. It gets too complicated on your phone to do it. Phones are funny with all the squareds and the square roots that you put in there. So second square root is where I start. And I'm plugging this in. I do another parenthesis for -8, end parenthesis squared, minus 4 times 5 times -19. I end the parentheses and hit enter. It's going to give me a value. Again, what I'm getting here is that this thing, inside this whole thing here, is roughly 21.1. Roughly 21.1, so that's what I'm going to use when I work through the problem. And again, these are aboutsies, so when you get an answer, it's going to be kind of a close answer. You're going to do a little rounding, so when you get the answer in the end, especially on those multiple choice ones, it might not be exactly what you see, but really close, okay? So this is 8 plus 21.1 divided by 10, because that's what the bottom equals, 10. That's what the first n equals. And the second n equals 8 minus 21.1 divided by 10. Don't forget to hit equals on both of those before you divide. If you don't hit equals before you divide, it is not going to work out. So this is 8 plus 21.1, hit equals, divide by 10. I got about 2.9. So n is 2.9-ish. And then I'll do the next one. 8 minus 21.1, hit equals, divide by 10. And I get negative 1.3-ish. And so when you're looking for your answers, again, on multiple choice, oops, I don't have that where you can see. They're not going to be necessarily exactly those values, but they should be close. Pick the two answers that are closest to those. When it's not multiple choice, it doesn't matter. Just put your two answers down. Now, I wanted to go through this where we get an answer a couple of times first, but then we're also going to come across some situations that are not going to give us an answer, or that are a little bit weird. And so up next in this problem number 4, I believe, if I remember correctly, it's a scenario where when I plug this stuff in, I get something that comes out as a no solution. It comes out as an error in my calculator. And that can happen. It just means that it's not factorable. It means that it's not, you can't break it down. It means that it never crosses the x-axis when we graph it. So I'll show you what those look like. I go through the same way. A is 6, and B is -3, and C is +10. And the variable is B. Don't confuse these two B's. This is the variable in the problem. Not meant to confuse you, but the ABC, remember, are the numbers in front that we plug in, and the B is just the variable that the answer we're solving for. So this is the opposite of B plus or minus the square root of. A parenthesis is going to show up. I put a second one in there, -3 end parenthesis squared, minus 4 times 6 times 10, end parenthesis again in my calculator, all over 2 times 6. And again, I'm going to plug, this one's going to go faster because, like I said, we're ending up with a scenario where it's not going to give us an answer, and all we have to write is no solution. So when I plug this in, what's that? Yep, domain error, yep. So when I plug that in, I do second square root parenthesis, -3 end parenthesis squared, minus 4 times 6 times 10, end the parenthesis again, oops, I missed my 6, times 6 times 10, end the parenthesis, hit equal, domain error comes up, that means I have no solution. Okay? So if you get that domain error, sometimes domain error means you plug something in wrong. Sometimes domain error means you have no solution. If you put the parentheses around your B inside of here all the time, no matter what it is, you will not have to worry about an accidental domain error. Always put whatever your B is in parentheses before you square it. And if you do that correctly, then domain error will come up and it'll be a true domain error. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to show you too today is what happens if I only have those two terms. What's missing is the term that has just the single a. So keep in mind, I can rewrite that as 4a squared minus or plus 0a minus 4 equals 0. So I sort of fill in that missing with a 0. We've done that before when we were factoring. You can do it again with the quadratic formula. So when I pick out my A, B, C, my A is 4, my B is 0, my C is -4. So I'll do the opposite of 0. 0 doesn't have an opposite. So it's 0 plus or minus the square root of, parenthesis, parenthesis, 0 squared. The first parenthesis will show up. You add the next parenthesis, square it. Minus 4 times -4, end the last parenthesis, all over 2 times 4. And so now I'll get my variable as A. That's A equals, I'll plug that in. Second, oops, I gotta get out of here. Clear, okay. I'm clearing this. Come on, clear, clear. Okay. Second square root. Second parenthesis 0, end parenthesis squared, minus 4 times -4, end parenthesis equal. I get 8. Did you guys get 8? Okay, good. So I get 8. So this thing equals 8. So it is 0 plus 8 divided by 8. And 0 minus 8 divided by 8. And then I get my two answers. Don't forget to hit equals. 0 plus 8 equals divide by 8, 1. 0 minus 8 equals divide by 8, -1. Keep in mind when you get whole numbers like that, when it comes out really nice like that, you get the whole numbers, that means you probably could have factored it, but you don't have to, like the snowflake method you could have done, but you don't have to. You could always count on this method if you prefer it. Maybe you like it better than the snowflake method. Okay, so let's do another one. A is 3. B is -10, C is 12. R equals the opposite of B, plus or minus the square root of, parenthesis, negative 10 squared, end parenthesis squared, minus 4 times 3 times 12, all over 2 times 3. Bottom is 6. I can do that math right away. Top, I use my calculator. So this is actually, I think I told you before, this is our last section in this unit, so expect your test next week. Just preparing for you. We'll probably do a review next time we meet. And then have a day of review on your own. And then the test. So I'm thinking we meet again on Tuesday next week, and so your test will probably be on Thursday. So 4 times 3 times 12, end parenthesis, hit equals. Oops, I got a domain error. Did you guys get a domain error? Yeah, okay. So here we go. That ended up being domain error, so remember, no solution. FYI, on the homework part of this, you're going to have 2 of them that are domain errors, 2 that have no solution, 2 that, and then the other 3 will have a solution. So keep that in mind as you're working. If you end up with a whole bunch of them getting a no solution, you did something wrong. But let's run through this last one together, and then I'll let you do some on your own. So A is 5, B is negative 6, C is negative 63, and P equals the opposite of B plus or minus the square root of, first parenthesis will come on the calculator, you enter the next one, negative 6, end parenthesis squared, minus 4 times 5 times negative 63, all over 2 times 5. That's 10, so when I plug it in my calculator, I'll use 10 that I divide by. And now I can do the square root part. Second square root, parenthesis, negative 6, end parenthesis squared, minus 4 times 5 times negative 63, end parenthesis, oops, mine says 63, 4 times 5, oops, and I also missed a minus. Okay, trying this again. I got 28.1-ish. Anybody else 28.1-ish? No? Okay. I could have hit something wrong, so I'm going to try it again. So it's second square root, open parenthesis, negative 6, end parenthesis squared, minus 4 times 5 times negative 63, end parenthesis equal. Oh, 36? Is that what you guys got? Okay, yeah, I must have hit something wrong. So 36, this one came out whole, so this must have been factorable. I could have probably used the snowflake formula, but instead I'll find my p's this way, 6 plus 36 divided by 10. Don't forget it equals on the top. And then 6 minus 36 divided by 10. And again, don't forget to hit equals before you divide. So my 2 answers are 4.2 and 3. Does that look right? Did you guys do it? Okay. So your job is to work through the odds. Again, keep in mind you will have 2 with no solution. And Lucy, are you okay? You didn't get those answers? Don't forget to hit equals first. I mean, like, when you do that, it'd be 6 plus 36 equals, then divide by 10. You got the 36 part right, though?
Yeah.
Okay, so then it would be just a plugging in from there. All right, so your responsibility is the odds?